Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. The Northwest's only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Curtin Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
Hello.
And we're here with our very special guest, Mr. Mack Worley from On The Move, onthemoveshow.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, onthemoveshow.com, or you can check me out on Spreaker.com/onthemoveshow.
Our next segment is infamous already. It's called Rocket Fire. And what we do here on Rocket Fire.
It's my favorite.
Okay.
It's my favorite. I love this part.
You got to say that.
I love this part.
Anyways, we're going to do Rocket Fire. I'm going to ask you a series of 10 questions. If you can answer these questions between 30 to 60 seconds, that'd be great. You ready to rock and roll? Ready to play Rocket Fire?
Let's do it.
Bam.
Rocket Fire! Question 1. Can you name at least 3 Supreme Court justices?
We got Chief Justice John Roberts, Scalia. I think his name is like Anthony or Antonin or something like that.
Okay.
And there's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There we go.
Okay. Question 2. Can price gouging be good?
Yeah, it can definitely be good. I mean, you're talking about free market. So
Yes, free market shit.
In a case of emergency or something, somebody's price gouging, let's say gasoline, that would mean that there would be less gas bought by one individual customer, most likely. So there would be some left over for others. In addition, there would be, it's a free market solution because, that guy, his whole job, his business is to make as much money off of his products as he can. So, and you as an individual customer, you could choose to go somewhere else. If you want a comparative shop, that's fine. But if he is the only guy in town that's selling that gas, it's supply and demand. He should be able to charge whatever he wants.
Question 3. What is the longest a president can serve? How many years?
Well, 8 years, 2 different terms of 4 years each. I can't make this go any longer.
Okay.
Can we discuss that? Or
Actually, we can talk about that later. 5. Are teachers underpaid?
Are teachers underpaid?
Yeah.
I would say no. They aren't underpaid in general. Now, I mean, I guess somebody may think that their services are worth more than what they're getting paid for, but there is nothing stopping them from going to go get another job somewhere else, maybe in the private sector, especially if you're getting money from the public. We're talking free market here, so no one's forcing you to get paid what you're currently paying. And if you are receiving a paycheck, that is what you're worth because that's what you've accepted. So I don't think that you're underpaid.
Right on. Lawsuits make the world a safer place.
I don't know. I mean, that one's a tough situation. I think lawsuits can clear up disputes, and I think sometimes disputes can't be settled at the lowest level. Sometimes there will be situations where you do need somebody to come in and resolve it between 2 parties. So yes, they can make the world safer, but we have become quite a litigious society recently, and I think that some things are going overboard. Some of these situations could just be handled at the lowest level, and some have really no need for anybody else to get involved.
Question 7.
Can revenge be good?
Revenge is a dish best served cold, I believe. But
I tried to say that evilly too.
you did. It was good.
All right, thank
I'm
you.
wringing my hands right now. I don't really. I'm a pacifist myself, so I'm not really big on the whole revenge thing. I kind of believe in the whole turn the other cheek kind of situation. But sometimes when you're talking about an eye for an eye kind of situation, it can be good. For example, if we are attacked by another nation, attacking that nation back can be good for us because we can prevent them from attacking us again, and we can also discourage our other enemies from assuming that we're weak and we can just be attacked without anything happening to us.
8. If a private company receives money from a government, then should they be subject to the rules of that government?
I mean, it depends on what rules you're talking about. Now, if
subsidies.
So if, let's say, a company, for example, got a bailout, and that was public money, so I don't think that company, in normal cases, I'm actually a fan of companies being able to assert their freedom of association. So I think, there's a lot of stuff going on right now with the RFRA in Indiana and stuff like that. So I think that companies should be able to discriminate if they want, and I think they should be held accountable for their words and actions. So if you are a bigot and you want to just not, provide somebody a service because of their race or their sexual orientation, then you should be held accountable for that. But you should be allowed to discriminate. So I think I think it's a good thing to have that kind of discrimination. But we should be able to hold them accountable. Free market solutions should be able to get them. But if they're receiving public money, they shouldn't be allowed to do that because you are on the government teat now. And as being on the government teat, you can't discriminate against the public that funded you. So that's where I stand on that.
Badass, dude. Number 9. Which hand does the Statue of Liberty hold the torch?
Let me see here. Right hand, right? And then
yeah.
She got like a book or something in the left.
Yeah. All right, number 10. What are some reasons to oppose Common Core?
Ooh.
And we can go into overtime if you want on this one.
Yeah. I mean, this one's going to take probably a little more than 30 seconds. But Common Core for me, this all goes back to that experiment that I was talking about as far as within states. Okay, so first of all, I think that the federal government has absolutely no place in education. So we're talking about a blanket standard over all these states. And basically what you're going to produce is a bunch of drones who all are meant to think the same. They've went through the same exact training. They all are going to be just carbon copies of one another. And if that system fails, if this one experiment, that's what it is, it's an educational experiment, fails, then we all collectively fail within the United States. Just like it would if we were a national government, every state was run by the federal government. If that government failed, we all fail. But like our founders, again, it was so genius. It's a genius experiment that they created. If our states are allowed to run the states the way that they want to, they can run their education system the way that they want to. We don't have to worry about a mass failure because we're all running the same standards. We'll get different thinkers, people who were trained differently, taught differently, different backgrounds, different school experiences, coming up with different ideas. And that diversity, I think, is really beneficial. In addition, people in the states, what you need. Like I don't need somebody who's thousands of miles away from me telling me what I need to teach my children. I know what I need to teach my children. I know what's going to make them successful. Right. So I don't need the federal government to come and tell us in our community what we need to do.
All right, hey, let's stop the clock here on Rocket Fire. We're going to continue. I want you to continue saying what you wanted to say. I just wanted to make sure I stopped the clock. I didn't want to give you an unfair advantage. So we're now in overtime. So now,
first time ever.
No, this was a kind of a tough question, so I figured
it's a great one too, and I love where you're going with this. I really do.
Keep going, man. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that was we stopped the clock because then it was like that guy got like 20 minutes. What the fuck?
Well, no. But I mean, as far as this whole thing, it is an experiment. When you're conducting an experiment, you want as many different controls as possible. So if I was going to do an experiment on a lab, on lab rats, I wouldn't just pick one and be like, oh crap, it died.
Right. No,
like,
totally.
Bummer.
Yeah. So I would want, as many as I can. And in this case, the states are lab rats, that we're doing different things with all 50 of these different states and seeing what works. It's kind of like mixing audio. You turn a few knobs here and there, get the right sound. There we go. We got it. And then once you get it, that becomes the blueprint for these other states, these other experiments to learn from. They can learn from your mistakes and failures, or they can learn from your successes and emulate it.
Well, here's a couple of follow-up questions. How is it bad for parents? How is it bad for teachers? And how is it bad for taxpayers?
Oh, okay. So
Common Core.
For parents, I think that was your first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Parents have less of an ability to have flexibility in their children's school.
Right on.
And again, it is a standard, and that some kids may not work well with these kind of standards. Some kids may be different kind of learners, and then going to the teachers, the teachers now have these arbitrary standards. Kids aren't being taught to succeed in the real world; they're being taught to pass a test. And I don't know how it is with you, Johnny, but when I was in school and taking tests and stuff, as soon as I was done with that test, I dumped all that information. It was gone. So there may be stuff that retains, but we need to not just teach our kids how to test, but have these teachers pass along their passion for teaching to these kids, so the kids get a passion for learning, not just cramming all this information in their head so they can come up with the right answer on a multiple choice test. That's not what learning is about. Learning is about educating yourself, and it's more about learning to think, think critically.
Well, it's not rote memorization, meaning I'm just not memorizing. That's what we had to do in the military especially with the checklists, and emergency procedures that we had to memorize before we even got in an aircraft. And then we got in the aircraft, and now I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I learn this? Because I don't understand why I was learning this. But then you understand. Then you actually get to the point to understand why you are doing it. And
absolutely.
So you can know all these words and terminology, but if you don't know the meaning behind those terms and wording, it means nothing. So the actual concept, understanding why you do what you do, then I guess reinforces the rote memory. But everyone's different, though.
As far as, for the taxpayers too, that was another thing I didn't get to. Like I said, this is all contingent on it if this succeeds or fails, and we're going to pump in all this money to a program that could potentially fail and set our education system back on a national level if it did fail. I just think this is a big mistake, and it's a waste of taxpayer monies. Allow the communities to come up with the kind of education program that they want. And I don't even think it's a matter of allowing. It's their right. It's their children. It does not take a village as far as the federal government to raise a child. Those children belong to the parents.
What about the children, though, man? What about the children?
Exactly. That's the excuse, and I'm tired of that excuse.
I know, man. I'm
for the children nowadays.
Okay, hey, I got another question. I got a quote here, and I want you to maybe talk about this quote. The Constitution shall never be construed to prevent the people of the United States who are peaceful citizens from keeping their own arms. Samuel Adams.
I agree. I'm a big advocate for the Second Amendment, and the concept, the entire idea coming from the left that the Second Amendment was meant to number one be for hunting, or number two, as they so love to do, for people in a militia. The concept.
Hey, there's a comma there.
Yeah. Well, they say that it wasn't meant for the individual citizen, but yet everybody had guns at that time period anyway, number one.
They brought guns to the convention.
And who was the militia?
Everyone was.
Yes.
Everybody every citizen was a militia member, or a militia member.
If you were an able-bodied, man, you were in the militia, and you were expected to. If your community needed to be defended, you were expected to grab your gun and go. And those weapons weren't provided from the government; those were their own individual weapons.
Right. No, I'm with you, man. Here's another quote: "Ideas are more powerful than guns. We would not let our enemies have guns. Why should we let them have ideas?" Joseph Stalin.
That is a good quote. I like that. Yeah, so that's powerful, though. I mean, it goes to show you that the people who were the most tyrannical were in favor of the strictest kind of gun laws, and he was absolutely right. Ideas are more dangerous than guns, for one. Just look at the whole idea of liberty. And you cannot kill this idea. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how bad things are going to get in our country. Once this kind of thing is taken root, it spreads, and once you know what freedom and liberty is, the ability to, control your own destiny, you want that, you need that. And that's why it's called natural rights, because it feels right and natural, and people naturally will gravitate to that.
Okay, I'm going to do a new segment here. I'm going to make this up on the spot.
Whoa, really?
Yep, we're going to do it. And it's called What Would a Liberal Ask? All right, so I'm going to play the role of a progressive liberal.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jacques, and I'm very deep.
Jacques?
Jacques.
All right. Oh, no. So it's Jacques.
Jacques.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
So, why would, having teachers armed with guns be, safer for the children? By allowing, guns in school, it would, increase gun deaths, dude.
Okay.
That was Jacques.
Okay, Jacques. All right, so let's go ahead and just talk about this. I'm a big fan of allowing teachers to arm if they choose to arm. And I think it's better in a school environment if it's concealed. I'm a big fan of open carry, so don't get me wrong. But in this environment, I think it would be kind of an element of surprise. It's a deterrent. You never know what teacher's going to have the gun. In addition, kids won't know that their teacher has a gun on them, so they won't be able to take it from them if they don't know it's there. I think this whole idea that of people fearing this inanimate object is just ridiculous. This object will allow people to literally fight fire with fire instead of the stuff that they are taught now is astoundingly stupid. Stay in the classroom, turn off the lights, lock the door, and throw a desk in front of it and hide and hope that he just doesn't come into the room and kill all of you. I mean, that is the worst kind of deterrent. It's a soft target. Let's harden these targets.
Or throw cans at them.
Yeah.
Throw cans of tomato soup.
People wouldn't have any problem. At least most most people, I would think, would not have a problem with putting an armed security guard in their school. That happens all the time already. So why not let the people that are there with the children that have the biggest reason to protect these teachers? A lot of these teachers consider their class like their kids, you know.
Right.
So why not,
dude, totally.
Why not let
still
these
in
people
shock.
protect
Sorry,
the kids?
Right. Oh, dude, you're racist for saying that thing, man.
Dude, shut up, Jacques.
Dude, you're racist, dude. Okay, so like you libertarians, man, you tell people to blame the individuals, not the gun. But like you guys will like blame Hollywood people for making action flicks, man. So what the fuck?
Well, personally, I don't blame anybody for Hollywood movies or anything like that making things violent. I think violence happens. I don't blame inanimate objects for the actions of others. Like, for example, Jacques, I wouldn't blame I wouldn't blame your fork for making you fat, Jacques.
Or the burger.
Yeah, that was your individual decision, and you will receive all the blame for that. And just like if somebody commits an act of violence, there's obviously something going on with that person, either mental illness or they're just criminal intent. Maybe they just don't give a crap about others and they want to hurt people. That is an issue that I don't think it will matter if you ban a gun or whatever implement that they choose. If they want to run you down with a car, it's not the car's fault. It's not the fork's fault. It's not the gun's fault.
Right. Okay, man, whatever. What does the NRA do? And like they have like a responsibility to society and shit. So what do they do?
NRA is the National Rifle Association. They are, I would say the biggest gun organization, pro Second Amendment organization out there. I'm actually a life member, but personally, I've got my beef with the NRA. I feel like they play the politics game, and they obviously pick the fights that they think that they can win, and they kind of do cost benefit analysis on things. But at the same time, I kind of feel like in a lot of ways, and any NRA members out there, this is not to disparage the organization. Like I said, I'm a member of it, and I want to change this about them from the inside.
I mean, right, dude.
Yeah. So. I feel like some of the things that they do, like for example, I-594 or I-591, we knew this stuff out here was going to be a problem, but the NRA really didn't get their hooks in on this situation. We got hosed, and now we're paying the consequences. If NRA would have paid more attention to it then when it was happening, and they knew all about it, but they decided not to get involved. And I think it's one of those situations where they're like, see, you need us, you need the NRA. They're coming after your guns. And they didn't do anything to stop it.
Because they're dangerous, man. I don't know. Just making this shit up, dude. Wait. Is there any gun that you shouldn't own?
Personally, I
like an RPG is cool?
I believe in the right to bear arms. I think if you can bear it, you can carry it. I mean, that in my opinion,
you can carry it, motherfucker.
The only, for me, and this is just... I honestly like the idea that if the government can have it, you can have it, and I'm pretty extreme when it comes to my viewpoints, and I understand that everybody will likely not agree with me. I think if the government can have a tank, why can't I? The Second Amendment was put there as a hedge against tyranny, and if I don't have the same weapons that my government has, how can I become an effective hedge? More importantly, if I can understand the constitutional argument against owning a tank. I can understand that if they used it properly. Like, for example, if they say, well, you can't bear a tank bears you, that would be the proper justification for that, because I have a right to bear arms. But if I can't pick up the tank, I can't bear it. Right. But personally, I disagree with that. I think,
What if you're really strong, though?
if you are,
then you can have a tank.
I don't think you need the government's permission at that point. I think you can just do whatever you want.
Why is it counterintuitive to most Americans about the gun-related problems by solving gun problems with more guns?
I will disagree with the premise of the question, I guess. I don't think that it is counterintuitive. I think that it actually makes people safer to have firearms on them, and that's just me. But statistics back it up. Gun sales are at an all-time high. Crime is lowering, and the areas where the crime is the worst in the country, it's areas where there's gun-free zones. Like, for example, Chicago, New York City. and the list goes on. I mean, it's and even
It's going to get worse too, but I think before it gets better.
Yeah, well, I who knows if it'll get better, but I can tell you that the areas that are the safest in the country are areas that have the most guns per capita.
Right.
So if you're talking about the ability to defend yourself, you're much safer to having a gun with you. And in addition to that, it's a safer community where everybody is armed, or you don't know who's armed. The criminals. Nothing is a soft target. They got to go into every circumstance that somebody may have a gun.
Right on. Hey, Mac, anyways, well, thank you very much for coming here on the Johnny Rocket Launchpad.
Totally, man. Thank you so much.
You rock, brother.
Let's have you in the studio next time, man.
Yeah, man.
Seriously.
We can have some beers.
That would be fun.
And you can,
count me in next time.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. I mean, I was just figuring I'd save you a drive.
Oh,
it's
no.
kind of a fucking trek.
Are we going to see you down at the convention this year in May?
It is a possibility. I'm not sure. And right now everything's kind of up in the air with the schedule. So we'll see. I guess. I hope so.
Yeah, man. We'd like to see you out there. I think it's May 31st. I'm not 100% on that date. Heather?
Yeah, May 29th.
May 29th. Right on. Anyway, so this is Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. Hey, Matt, give us your information really quick before we let you go. So everyone can tune into your show and stuff.
Yeah, you can tune in. We broadcast live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those of you out there on the other coast. And we broadcast from the hub, onthemoveshow.com. That is where you can get all the information. And we also simulcast on haywiregulch.com. And you can, if you want to go straight to the source, we broadcast off the platform Spreaker.com/on-the-move-show. Feel free to follow me on there.
Hey, man, thank you very much. It was an honor to have you on here.
Absolutely,
You're a good guy, man.
Really.
I'm glad you're my brother from another mother over there in the constitutional world. And thank you very much for coming on the show. We really do appreciate it. And your show is fantastic. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. And anytime you want me on your show, man, let me know. I'd like to chime in and give you my opinion. That's French for opinion.
Absolutely. I'll take you up on that. And thank you. The honor and pleasure is mine. Thanks again for having me, guys.
All right.
Absolutely,
thank you very
man.
much, brother. Johnny Rocket here, Launchpad, launching ideas. Be right back.